Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTubes, especially the ladies. ladies. Today was a special day, a momentous occasion, because today is the day I went to my first gun show. I wanted to bring the camera with me. I actually did bring it. I was planning on making this into a YouTube video. But the minute I got through the door, there was a big-ass sign that said, "No cameras allowed." And I certainly understand why. Because they would not want the media filming inside these gun shows. So, what was the gun show like? Fucking awesome. Amazing. It was like a candy land of mayhem and destruction, like this alternate universe where the ATF doesn't even exist or something. It was totally different from what I expected it to be. So how does the reality of a gun show differ from my expectations? Let me break it down. I've heard, as we all have, the mainstream media talking about the infamous gun show loophole, and I kind of assumed that that was just like liberal rhetoric, and I figured that going to a gun show would be more or less no different than going to your FFL dealer, like the gun store, and it would be more of like a carnival kind of atmosphere where the transactions take place at a booth instead of over a counter. But you would still have to fill out the paperwork and go through the NCIS background check and all that happy shit. No. You know what it's really like? Gun shows are like, those news reports where some foreign correspondent goes to some obscure little village in a war-torn African country and he finds that tent where the merchant is selling assault rifles and guys are buying a full auto AK-47 for 3 live chickens. It's like that. It's just crazy. It's insane. I mean, they had the weirdest shit that I've never seen for sale anywhere. And I do internet searches for all kinds of stuff like this. So, I mean, stuff that you look at it and you're scratching your head like, how can this even be legal? I went to this one booth. There was a glass case full of flashbang grenades. Real flashbang grenades. Like the SWAT teams use. And for those who don't know, a flashbang grenade is a grenade. Flashbang is a euphemism because the cops don't want people to know they're using grenades on their fellow citizens. But that's what it is. I mean, it's got the same explosive charge as a grenade. It just doesn't. It's not surrounded by metal that fragments out and shreds up your flesh. But if you're standing close enough, the concussive force can kill you. They had them. They had those. $50 a pop. I didn't buy one. What the fuck am I going to do with that? But they had crazy shit, guys. They had powdered black aluminum and magnesium shavings. For those not in the know, the several components of thermite. They had that. They had rockets. They had rockets. They had rockets that deploy guy lines. That I don't even know what the fuck you would use that for, climbing or deploying a bridge or something. Whatever. They had rockets. They had these perimeter alarm things that you set off with a tripwire and it sends a flare up. Just crazy weird survivalist Burt Gummer type shit. Militia, paranoid kind of quasi homegrown terrorist type shit, stuff that you would think you'd only be able to find on the deep web. It was all there. And the weirdest, most surreal part about it is that there was a uniformed cop on duty at this thing, right? Checking people as they come in and as they leave. And he was just cool with everything. Like, there were dudes walking past him all day with big ass assault rifles slung over their shoulders, like carrying crates of like API rounds, armor piercing incendiary for those not in the know. They had that there. 5.56, 7.62, everything. Oh man, they had it. And anyway, this cop, he was just like watching everybody with this bemused smile on his face, like he was watching his kids ride the teacups at Disneyland. Like, oh, you little mischievous scamps. Boys will be boys. It was the most surreal, weird experience. Like, everything that the Democrats say about gun shows, it's actually worse. By which, of course, I mean better. It's fucking awesome. It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, it was the most American thing I've ever done. And I was proud. Guys, I was proud. I was proud to be an American. Anyway, though. So, to give you a little context, I've been making more money at my new job, driving semi-trucks for this furniture moving company. But money's still tight. You know, and I've been trying to scrimp and save my pennies, thinking, you know, maybe a year from now I can get myself a motorcycle. So I went to this thing with the intention that, you know, I'm just going to spend the day there, check it out, see what it's about, look at all the cool check out some buxom country gals and, you know, have a good time. And I did all that, but I'm not going to buy anything. I'm not going to take anything home. Well, I got something. Yeah, I did. You know, I've mentioned to you guys before that I consider myself just a gun owner, but not a gun nut per se, because I'm not like one of these people that has a huge arsenal. I have 5 guns. And I think I've kind of got all my bases covered. You know, I've got my good quality sidearm in my SIG P226. I've got a powerful, legendary main battle rifle in my Mosin Nagant. I've got a high quality tactical rifle in my AMD 65 for when the zombies attack. And I've got a pretty cool tactical 22 rimfire rifle for practicing and shooting at squirrels. Actually, I would never shoot a squirrel. Squirrels are too cute. But yeah, I've got that, you know, so I figure I've got all my bases covered, and any other purchases would just be superfluous. It'd be a waste of money because I've got all the guns I need. But I have mentioned that if I ever did get another gun, I would want to get a 12 gauge shotgun, because I hate relying on my SIG as my home defense go-to option, because with a pistol, 9mm or otherwise, there's always the possibility of over-penetration and killing your neighbor's kid with a stray bullet, and I don't want that on my conscience. So, you know, you can't beat a 12 gauge shotgun. And I've had them before. I've had Mossberg 500s. I had a break action single shot Iverson shotgun from the turn of the century. I had to get rid of that because the stock was starting to get so beat up that you know, it had cracks in it, and with the recoil of a shotgun, you're kind of asking for trouble with a cracked up stock, because if it breaks all the way, you'll vampire stake yourself in the shoulder with a shard of splintered wood, and that's not my idea of a good time. So I let that thing go. I sold it. But you know, I thought, well, maybe if there's like a reasonably priced Mossberg 590A tactical, like that one with the cool looking ventilated heat shield on it that looks really badass. You guys that know guns, you know what I'm talking about. I said, maybe I'll pick that up, maybe. And they did have those there. And everything was at rock bottom prices, by the way. Oh my goodness, amazing prices. But I didn't get a Mossberg, because there's something else that I've always wanted ever since I first started getting interested in firearms. And I kind of thought, it's pie in the sky. I'll never be able to afford one of these because they're prohibitively expensive. You never see them for under $500, and they're usually more up in like the $1,500 range. Sometimes even like over $2,000. But I went to this one booth, and it's a good old boy sitting behind the counter. And I said, hey, mister, is that a side-by-side double-barrel 12-gauge shotgun you've got there? And he goes, nothing but. And I said, how much you want for that bad boy, just out of curiosity? And he's like, well, how much you want to give me? And at this point, I'm thinking, all right, he's put the ball in my court, so I'm going to lowball this guy, get the best deal I can. I said, $100, man, $100. And he's like, get a load of you, $100. I got to get at least $350 for this thing. And I was like, ooh, well, now we're getting somewhere. Because I actually could have afforded $350. But I wasn't about to spend $350 at a gun show when I went intending on not spending any money at all. And, you know, for $350, it actually would have been a steal at that price. It would have been an incredible deal, but the atmosphere of this place, you know, everybody was haggling like an Arab trader, and I wouldn't have felt right about myself if I paid this dude's asking price. You know, like I got to pay my price in order to be able to look at myself in the mirror, which I love to do. Oh, so I said, oy vey, goy, 350 shekels. That's a lot of money, that is. Oy vey. And I still have to donate to Israel this month. How about 200 shekels I give you, eh? And he was like, oy vey, 200 shekels. That's like another showa, that is. Oy vey. And we basically just kept Jewing and counter-Jewing each other for hours. I actually, at one point, I left the booth. And I just gave him like half an hour to stew on it. And, I came back. And I was like, hey, man, you still got that shotgun? He's like, yep. And I said, well, look. It's the end of the day. The fun show's about to close. I know you want to make one last sale before you pack everything up, so 250 bones, man. What's up? 250 bones. I got it right here, green money. And he got this pissed off look on his face, which was when I knew the deal was sealed. And he was like, all right, 250 bucks. And I said, get the paperwork, my man. And you know what happened? I shit you not, he laughed at me. He was like, this guy, paperwork. I'll tell you what the paperwork is, my friend. You start counting out bills. Guys, the only paperwork that transpired was a firm and manly handshake. That was it. I was like, do you even want to know my name? Do you even want to see my driver's license and verify that I'm a U.S. citizen? And he was like, nope. And that was it. I handed the guy cash, and he handed me this beautiful boomstick right here. And I have to say, for 250 bones, there's a hair stuck in it. My hair gets everywhere. For 250 bones, I think I did pretty good. I mean, this thing is gorgeous. Like, look at the condition of that stock. Look at the tiger stripe wood grain in that. I don't know if the camera's really doing it justice. Probably not. But this thing is just in really good condition. It's got this real cool looking patina on it that almost has this kind of marbled effect of like yellow and blue. And it's got this scroll work etching in the metal. And it's just like the way I've always felt about these things is a side-by-side double barrel is kind of like the Smith & Wesson revolver of long guns. Like it's a showpiece. It's a barbecue gun. It's the kind of thing you put up on the mantle and show off when you get neighbors over for dinner. It's, hey, look at what I got, man. I got a double barrel. You know, it's kind of classy. They've got a little style to them. Not to mention the fact that I can't hold this thing without feeling like a cowboy. I mean, I just regress to like this childhood level, and like every game of Cowboys and Indians I ever played as a kid comes rushing back. And whenever I hold this in my hand, the first sentence that goes through my head is, "Get off my land, you son bitch." So I guess the only thing I need to do now is get some land to roust some bitches off of, and then I can fulfill the fantasy, right? But, you know, nothing says get the fuck out of my face quite like 2 barrels of 12 gauge double-aught buck. And I've just always wanted one of these things. I never thought I would get one at a price I could afford. And it's in such good shape. I mean, like, the bluing is completely intact. I looked down the bores, plural. Oh, I never got to say that before. It's got two. And it's bright and shiny. It almost looks like the thing was never fired. Both of the firing pins are in there and they both work. I dry fired the thing. They say you're not supposed to do that, but what the fuck ever. It's fine. It's fine. Some guys are bitches about that. Oh, you dry fired, you're going to break your firing pin. No, I'm not. It's fine. But yeah, I think I did really well for myself. And by the way, in case anybody's wondering, I did not spend any YouTube donation money on this. Somebody actually did donate to my channel after the $300 that I spent on the camera. Pardon me. Somebody donated $100, and I'm sitting on that right now. I'm saving it because my next step for the channel is to upgrade my sound. This is a good quality vocal microphone, but it's for singing. It's not for talking. For that, you want like a can-shaped condenser mic in like the shock absorber housing on the swing arm with the pop filter, so I can have that phony air of MSM legitimacy just like the big boys, like Styx Hexenhammer, Steven Crowder, the Drunken Peasants, you know. I can stop holding the mic and having to one arm a double barrel shotgun, which is quite a hefty firearm, I must say. I mean, this thing really has, when you hold this thing, you know you're holding some serious hardware. But yeah, this thing's in great condition, and it's fucking sweet. Let me break this thing open for you, actually. See if I can get a view down the bore, maybe if I aim it just right at the camera. As you can see, it's nice and shiny in there, nice and shiny. And I already disassembled the thing, oiled it up with the CLP and all that happy shit. It's actually got this dual extractor mechanism thing that I think is really cool because it pops out the shells. The last break action I had, you had to pick the shells out after they're spent. It didn't just pop them out when you open the thing, but this one does. And I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, I had to have something to remember my first fun show by. I mean, what would it say about me if I go to my first ever fun show and leave empty-handed? That's not who I am. It's not who I am. I had to get something, and I have always wanted one of these. It's just really badass. I like the rib down the center of the thing too. It's just really cool. So, And by the way, I've never had a firearm with 2 triggers before. How awesome is that? 2 triggers. You could fire 1 barrel at a time or both of them at the same time. And for the price I spent on this, I could have gotten like a modern tactical 12 gauge shotgun with like an 8 round tube that goes. But fuck that. I mean, because even with 8 shells, you can only fire 1 at a time, and with this, I got 2 at the same time. And that's about the most stopping power that you're going to get within the short range that this thing is actually capable of. So I really like it. I think it's got some class, it's got some style, just like the Fakesagan. And it's a memento of my first gun show experience. So, bottom line of this video, if you're even marginally interested in firearms and you haven't been to a gun show yet, you've got to go. It's so fucking cool. It's like daycare for adults. I mean, it's just, you will have, it's like Chuck E. Cheese. It's just pure candy for your id. It's amazing. Like, the stuff they have there will blow your mind. You'll be like, how is this legal? But it is. So that is all the news that's fit to print. Keep it motherfucking fake and get off my land, you son bitch.